and welcome to US6 News. Casey, what do you have for us this evening on the UsBuzz?
Well, today our feature story is going to be on a man named Job, one of the leading citizens here in US. Kayla, what can you tell us about Job?
Well, my sources tell me that Job was a blameless and a righteous man before God. He has 7 sons and 3 daughters and a buttload of sheep.
Wow, 7 sons and 3 daughters. Talk about expensive college tuition. But you know what? I hear that Job can afford it because he is apparently a very rich man.
That's right, Roger. I have reports that he has 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, and 5,000 female donkeys.
I wish I had 5,000 female donkeys just to spare.
Yes. Well, I'm curious though. It kind of seems like Job really doesn't trust his children.
What makes you say that, Kayla?
Well, he's been known that after every time they meet that he does burnt sacrifices just in case they sin against God.
Sounds like a dedicated father to me.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, very dedicated. Well, that's the man Job, but what is our feature story? Why is Job in our headlines today, Casey?
Well, interesting you should ask. His name has recently been brought up in the heavenly courtrooms.
Talk about your name being thrown around in high places.
That indeed.
Yes.
We have a live reporter out there right now, actually.
Yes, we do. Caitlin, are you there?
Yes, Roger. I am here outside the courtroom live where the case just ended. And believe me, a lot has been going on today.
We have reports that the sons of God were present at today's meeting. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Maybe who these sons of God really are?
Yes, it has been reported that the sons of God have been here today, but we're not sure whether they're angels or not.
Very interesting. Thank you, Caitlin. We have also had reports that Satan was present. We were wondering, does that imply that Satan was part of this group of sons of God, or was he separate from them in some way?
It seems from context that he has been listed separately, but has not been explicitly stated.
Thank you, Caitlin. That's been very informative.
No, thank you guys. This is Caitlin reporting live. Back to you guys in the studio.
So that's our live report from the scene, ladies. What are y'all's comments? What do you think?
Interesting. It raises a lot of questions in my mind as to what actually happened in the courtroom.
That's true.
One of the questions that comes to my mind is, what is the occasion? Why were the sons of God meeting in the courtrooms at the beginning?
Is this something that happens often?
Well, I don't know that I can really answer that question. We're not really given that much information. All we're told is that there was a meeting and Satan entered with the sons of God.
That's
Now,
very interesting.
Who these sons of God are, I don't know the answer to that question either. It's been reported that some believe that they are angels.
Yes, some translations also, I believe, translate it as angels.
All right, well, another question that comes to my mind is, who exactly is this Satan character?
That's a very good question.
It is indeed. You know, we're told that Satan is very manipulative. He's an accuser as a way. But the story as I heard it was that Satan entered the courtroom with the angels or the sons of God, and God questioned why he was there and what he had been doing, and Satan replied that he was roaming the earth. God brought up the fact that he has a servant, Job, who is very blameless and righteous, and Satan therefore tells God if he were to remove his protection and not give him the blessings that he had, that Job would indeed curse him. And we are told then that God said, go forth and give it your best shot, but you can't touch him. And then Satan left the courtroom.
Yes, it seems to me there that the question brought up by Satan seems to be a logical one, that if Job has always had protection from God, then why would Job not trust God? There's no reason not to. Is Job's righteousness really true righteousness? Is it really true faith in God, or is it just faith in the blessings of God?
That's a very interesting question, because it almost seems like there would be no righteousness without benefits, is kind of what Satan seems to be bringing up here.
Right.
And as in this setting, he is obviously a prosecutor of some sorts in the
Yes.
court. So he is obviously trying to accuse Job of something. But I think it's interesting that God was the one to bring him up in the first place.
Yes, that is
right.
very true. Does this mean? Should we take this to mean that God is being vindictive and in some way causing Job to suffer? Does this make God evil?
I don't know. Could it just be that we know God is the only one who is omnipotent and that he knows it all? Could he have just been tempting Satan to fail a test for himself?
I think it's very true that we know that God is good and that in the end, if God is putting his servant through this test, that somehow it'll come out for good. We can know that because of who God is.
I fully agree. Another question that comes to my mind is what God means when he said that Job was blameless.
Very true, because Job was a human being, so therefore that we know that Job probably wasn't really completely sinless.
Exactly.
So what does it mean that he was blameless?
It could possibly mean that in this situation, Job is innocent, that Job is not on trial in this situation is what it appears so to be. So this whole situation was not set up because of any sin of Job's.
It would also seem that maybe, this is just me going off previous context here, that as Abraham was made righteous by his faith, maybe that same type of grace of God through faith is the same thing that makes Job blameless. Not Job's own actions, but God's grace through Job's faith.
I fully agree.
Yes.
I believe that makes sense.
Yes. Well, it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. Don't you agree, ladies?
Yes, I do. And there is something else that caught my eye about this event that happened. It said that Satan left the presence of the Lord. That's a very interesting
That's very true.
phrase.
Satan has left the building.
Or the courtroom.
Well, it would seem to me that since God is omnipresent, that Satan couldn't truly leave the presence of God. But it would seem that God's presence indwells this holy court in a special way. And that by this, what the authors truly mean is that Satan left this area, this courtroom where God was dwelling in the fullness of his presence. Yes, these have been really good thoughts, but I think it'll be very interesting to see how this turns out. Thank you for tuning in tonight to Buzz 6 News.
Oh, thanks, Roger. Just got something from the newsroom. No, I'm just kidding.
Make another petition before God. Stay tuned as we continue to cover this story. Door slammer.
You are recording?
Yeah, I've been recording for the past like 10 minutes.
Oh, poop! Don't put that in there.
Faith.
I think it's faith that we should all aspire to.
Indeed. Please stay with us as we begin to cover more of this story.
We can hop back in on that point because we had a, right? This just in, it would seem that Satan has acted upon the power that he was granted by God to test Job, and that all of Job's possessions have been destroyed, and that all of his children are dead. But the amazing thing is that Job has still not lost his faith in God. He refuses to curse God.
That is an amazing testimony to this man's faith.
I think that that is the type of faith that we can all aspire to.
I fully agree.
Yes.
Indeed, that fascinating faith.
Yes. But Satan, it would seem, is not happy about this. He is apparently on his way as we speak back to the heavenly courts to make another petition to God. Stay tuned with us as we continue to cover this story.
No!
Yes!